You can write a song anywhere. I've written lyrics in a flower bed, outside while working, wherever inspiration decided to land. On February 7, 2026, an unmistakable stillness swept across the world of rock music. The voice that once made listeners feel unstoppable, the man who sang about being Superman even in moments of weakness, took his final curtain call. Brad Arnold, the steadfast frontman of Three Doors Down, had stood firm through nearly 3 decades of shifting trends and industry upheaval. Yet beyond the sold-out arenas and enduring anthems, a silent struggle was unfolding. It was a battle he kept hidden until the weight of it could no longer be contained. Welcome to Shadows of Stardom. Today, this is more than the story of a musician. It is a tribute to a man who gave everything to the crowd, even as his own clock was quietly ticking down. For millions, the lyrics of "It's Not My Time" became a lifeline during their darkest nights. There is a painful irony in the fact that the man who delivered those words with unwavering conviction was eventually forced to confront his own mortality much sooner than anyone imagined. At only 47 years old, Brad Arnold passed away, leaving behind a legacy both triumphant and deeply complex. While audiences saw him smiling beneath stage lights, few realized that during the final year of his life, he was privately fighting an aggressive form of kidney cancer. He did not seek sympathy. He simply wanted to keep singing. But Brad's story extends far beyond a diagnosis. To understand the burden he carried, we must look at the shadow that seemed to trail 3 doors down from the very beginning. From the devastating overdose of guitarist Matt Roberts to the imprisonment of bassist Todd Harrell, Brad became the final original pillar holding together a fractured dream. How does someone continue performing when the people beside him keep falling away? And when he finally revealed his illness, what was the message he most wanted the world to hear? As we look deeper into his life, it becomes clear that the true Superman was never the figure in the music video. It was the man who faced death with steady faith and quiet courage. Before we reach the painful details of his last days, we must return to the electrifying moment when everything began. Long before hospital rooms fell silent, there was the thunder of a crowd. To grasp what has been lost, we travel back to where the spark first ignited. It wasn't in Los Angeles or New York. It was in Escatawpa, Mississippi, inside an ordinary high school algebra classroom. Imagine a 15-year-old Brad Arnold, distracted, tapping rhythms against a desk. He wasn't focused on equations. He was scribbling lyrics about a superhero unraveling. That song was kryptonite, and it would ignite a blaze. When 2000 arrived, music was shifting. Grunge was fading, and listeners were craving something raw and unmistakably American. Brad Arnold and his friends delivered. Their debut album, The Better Life, didn't simply chart, it erupted. The kid from Mississippi was suddenly more than a drummer who sang. He became the voice of a generation. Kryptonite echoed from car stereos and college dorms nationwide. And it wasn't alone. Tracks like Loser and Duck and Run revealed Brad's ability to turn vulnerability into empowerment. For a moment, he stood as the reluctant leader of post-grunge rock, an everyman in a t-shirt pouring emotion into a microphone. The public viewed him as humble and grounded. The Better Life eventually sold over 6 million copies, cementing the band's cultural imprint. With Away from the Sun in 2002 and the haunting ballad Here Without You, Brad proved he could stir tears as easily as he could ignite a crowd. World tours followed. They performed for troops overseas, becoming a soundtrack of comfort for soldiers far from home. Brad was living the dream, standing before oceans of fans shouting his words back at him. It was a season of bright lights and relentless adrenaline. But the summit often distorts reality. Behind the scenes, the pace was relentless. Fame brought isolation, pressure, and exhaustion. Brad carried the weight as frontman. The spotlight burned hottest on him. As cheers faded each night, hotel room silence grew heavier. While fans saw invincibility, the foundation beneath the band was cracking. Years of touring took their toll. Whispers among fans spoke of a curse. Brad watched helplessly as his childhood friend Matt Roberts struggled and ultimately passed away from an overdose in 2016. The loss left a silence applause could never fill. Todd Harrell's spiral into substance abuse led to prison. Brad became the last founding member standing, the survivor tasked with carrying the name alone. The burden was immense. He battled alcohol quietly, becoming what the industry calls functional, delivering flawless shows while privately unraveling. He drank to numb grief and pressure. Alone on tour buses, he feared becoming the next tragedy. Unlike many, he chose to fight back. In 2016, he committed to sobriety. He emerged renewed, clearer, steadier, hopeful that the worst was behind him. But another test was waiting. For nearly a decade, it seemed he had won. He became a symbol of redemption. The band toured again. Then, in early 2025, an unsettling quiet began. Shows were postponed. Social media went silent. Rumors spread. The truth was far more devastating. In January 2025, Brad was diagnosed with stage 4 clear cell renal cell carcinoma. The cancer had already spread to his lungs. He chose secrecy. He didn't want sympathy to fill seats. For months, he carried the diagnosis alone while performing as though nothing had changed. By night, he was the electrifying frontman. By day, a chemotherapy patient. He shielded the public from his suffering. Eventually, the truth could no longer be concealed. In May 2025, he addressed fans directly in a raw video message. Calm and composed, he revealed his condition. He did not ask for pity. He declared, "I have no fear." He spoke of faith. He said, "We serve a mighty God." The announcement became not tragedy, but testimony. The man who once sang, "It's not my time now," faced the possibility that it was, and he did so with grace. The response was overwhelming. Love poured in from around the world. By speaking openly, Brad shaped his final chapter himself, not as a victim but as a warrior. On February 7, 2026, his voice fell silent. But the echo remains. The shadow that haunted the band could not extinguish his spirit. In revealing his battle with dignity, Brad Arnold left behind something more powerful than platinum albums. He proved strength isn't about permanence. It's about courage. The teenager who wrote Kryptonite showed that real power is not invulnerability. It's standing firm when fragile. His fearless acceptance challenges us all. Brad Arnold leaves a layered legacy. Survivor, witness, and voice for the lonely. His songs will continue to fill bars and stadiums alike. The secret he carried was not shame, but protection. A final gesture of love. He didn't want us to mourn the illness. He wanted us to celebrate the life. For years, he sang that it wasn't his time. Now, heartbreakingly, it was. Yet in the hearts of millions, the door he opened will never close. Brad Arnold has found the peace the road could never provide. The Superman has taken his final flight, not away from the sun, but straight into its light.